Alright, so Matt has bad shoulder posture. We're going over the shoulder protocol for chronic posture problems and sort of an assessment after post-injury, or if someone can't do any overhead lifting, this is a way to get them back to life. But some simple assessments. First, you give me posture position. Not too bad there. You don't know what you don't know here when you look at this. So what really is dialed in tight? And a lot of times you guys see your clients, they're doing this and they're squeezing, but a lot of times they're stiff like this. He's a little better trained than that, but kind of getting slack on it. I didn't think I would, but he got another inch or two out of his position. So it'll let you know some of those pieces are missing. Always go and check that. But didn't know what I didn't know there. If I get him against the wall, I'm going to find a lot of pieces that are missing. So go all against the wall, and you can see they can pretty kind of jump out at you there. So like I said, now you can see this left shoulder is a ½ inch to an inch higher on the side. Interesting things pop out, and you can see this when he's out here. But now, as you're lining up the posture, now technically speaking, his tailbone, shoulder blades, and his external occipital protuberance there should be back against the wall, basically the back of his head. But you don't want this kind of thing going. You want the chin tuck sort of posture going here, and no crazy hyperextension of the cervical spine. So you're just lining him up here, scapula backing out tight, and getting him against the wall. I prefer to go heels against the wall, but it's a little bit harder if you want to get him 6 to 12 inches from the wall. No big deal as long as the butt and shoulders and head are tucked. So from there, let's say, ask good questions on if this is an injury or if there's something missing or if it's a posture problem. We can go in depth on those actually because there may not be so obvious as it is. So see the space between his shoulder and the wall. Outside of something else probably. There's a gap there, so I can check to see, can I get it back against the wall? You definitely want those shoulders as far back as possible. So does he have huge delts, or is it literally forwardly rotated shoulder there? So I'm going to take that out there. Is there any pain? Go watch Dr. Subs with this. Immediately he's grimacing in there because he's got some lack of internal rotation of the shoulder, but also lack of external rotation. So see where that's at. We're stretching out the pec minor there, getting that capsule back and out tight. So there's so much that goes on before they even starts, but they typically will come against the wall, away from the wall as soon as you do that. They're compensating right. So there, and you will literally with Subs, we'll have to hold him at the hips, hold him at the shoulders, maybe not so much anymore. But my goal is to literally get that posture lined up first. So then, like I said in the email, you can start at adducted external rotation, abducted, or overhead. But once it becomes an actual strength training circuit, I prefer to go overhead, then external rotation, abducted, then tight, because it starts to break down and fall apart. But when you're assessing, let's say he just got injured, this is the easiest one to get going first. So elbows tucked tight here. She's already coming off, so go ahead and go. Hinge back, so I'm assisting that position there so he can get it. If I let go, he's going to have a real hard time doing that as the elbows will start to flare out. So I'm going to just keep tucking him in tight and making sure that position is perfect. I'm working on any grinding or friction that might be there. If he's rotated so bad he can't control, he's still in the wrong spot. So I'm going to pull that back and down, open that space so there's no impingement or shearing, anything like that. So it sucks for a long time. It's literally just holding that back. And you see how high up he's going. The compensation is tight. So I'd like to get that nice and tight in there. So the goal would be 10 of those. If they're injured, you're going to see that's just a posture problem. But let's say he's there, and so this shoulder's injured, and this is the debate of, do we push this? Is it frozen, and when was the injury? If this is 48 hours inside of injury, I would not push that. I would work pain-free range of motion only. I would not stretch that. If this was 6 months ago, Carol Blaine kind of person who's had this forever, we need to work on some assisted range of motion on this. So I'm going to put a little pressure in there. If his face is freaking out, he's at a 10 on pain, I'm not getting. That's enough, we're going to come back. Just a little pressure, come back. A little pressure, come back. Maybe even at the end range, push a little bit and then come back. Maybe you can do PNF or something like that on it. But eventually working on that range of motion. Again, take this to the ground, you'll find just laying against the ground, they're going to get more range of motion out of it. But that's how it start working to develop that. And you also notice that it's going to be missing up here. So if this isn't going well, bench presses aren't going to go, machine chest presses aren't going well. These are the guys that can only bench to 90 degrees and are definitely not going to go overhead. So this is the easiest one. If they can't do this well, they're fucked from the start. So goal being pain-free, shoulders back, all the way down here. And when he's off, and even with Suggs was more of a chronic posture problem. He's got terrible, I can't remember what shoulder is, overhead stability with it. So I keep tucking him here and guiding that range. And Suggs will always tell you about there's no pain in his shoulders anymore. So will Tom, same issue here. And we got his back now tight, and he's nice and loose and can do that there. This was the secret to it. The stretches in between sets will definitely help, but this is something they both chronically did. So we did 10 of those. Now arms up to the side, let's see where's that. Not bad, so we warmed him up, so he's tight against the wall there. He does have pretty big delts, so that's kind of cheating the system for him a little bit. So he's getting back a little tighter than probably would. Okay, from there he's making a fist, so if they don't squeeze this and they're kind of loose, the wrist will be kind of flexed back, and it's cheating the range of motion. It's not real so nice and tight. It'll activate things a little bit better. So go ahead and hinge back. Good. Not bad. Watch real close. If the shoulders are popping up, can you keep them retracted backing down? This shoulder sagging down a little bit. Is it a shoulder issue or is hips misaligned? What's going on there? You can kind of start seeing where their issue is. So does he have one hip tighter than the other? Maybe if we roll that hip, that shoulder will drop. All kinds of little silly things going on. So 10 there. Again, if he's missing range and he's coming up and say he's only frozen there and it's not intense pain, I'll start helping him get it. Sometimes you can get it all the way. Just assess. But I'm really trying to emphasize here is that how much is it okay? You know, Carol Blaine's got like one part of the rotator cuff, one the attachment is still left. I would not be putting much pressure on there. So my goal is just, can we get the range of motion without pain, and can she keep that functionality of raising her arm up to the side? You know, and basically her overhead lifting, to my knowledge, anymore is a PVC pipe, and we're still doing overhead lifting. We don't just completely take out overhead lifting. We're trying to keep that overhead strength still there. So she's going to need that at some point in her life, and it's going to keep balance for her shoulder structure instead of just horizontal push and pull. So basically with her, it would be PVC pipe, overhead press right in there in that position right there. Better than nothing. So we got the external rotations for 10 there, then from there, again, if he had an injured shoulder and he can't even raise his arm up, they'll always, you know, when they go to the doctor, and that's our scare here, 6 weeks off when we're training, we lose everything we did. If we can get him to get his arm back overhead, what are we doing? We're trying to strengthen the rotator cuff there, pain-free, get that range of motion back. Then the next piece, if you literally have to do a shoulder fly where they go there, but then the next piece is back in there. So you're slowly putting this movement back in place. It's very simple and very effective. You just got to make sure you don't do too much too soon with it, basically. So we did those. Arms abducted, rotation, hinge back, 10. Nice fix, good. So as you did, let's say he is the type that you got to force the range with him, and he starts popping off in different places. Get him tight and assist the range, and force that so he knows what he's supposed to do, what it feels like, but then pull away and see if he can hold it. So he might do 5 to 7 of them with me holding down, but the rest of them, so he can get on his own. So you want to be there bracing them forever. See what they can actually start to develop on their own. Okay, after that, he's turned all that on. He's turned his external rotation on there nice and tight, so get him frozen against the wall. Now he's going to push up, knuckles against the wall and overhead, all the way, like a head, impossible. This is where Matt's going to suffer, all the way back up. So I'm going to see if I can stretch him out there, extend, and down. Exhale, press, and down. Keep the shoulders back and down. Exhale, press, and down. I'm going to keep working at it. He'll need thousands of these, but if I ever want to get him to do snatches and jerks, keep that push down. So I don't want him to shrug up like this. So I'm going to keep those traps down, shoulder blades back and down, keep reaching good. So it's a combination of helping him get the range and also tucking that stuff down so they eventually put it together. And when they get off of this, it sucks sometimes doing it. It's a lot of reps. We're talking 30 reps of work, but it does start to feel better chronically. The symptom afterwards is not always the one I would look for. So when you can, so say you go through that circuit, then a nice combination, like the way we do it with subs a lot, is it's instead of dumbbell shoulder presses. We should test just to show people how funny it is, because he'll end up like this all day long. I mean, at least when we used to do them, where one side would never finish all the way. Strong as hell. He can go to machine shoulder press and crank out huge weights, but not with dumbbells. So it became this circuit, and he could still keep them symmetrical overhead and still get that range of unilateral training going. So it's become, at first, where he needed assisted range of motion on everything to get through the actual range, but now he actually does light dumbbells on it. And he can do, but he goes 10 overhead, 10 external rotation, abducted and adducted, and that's a circuit. We've done that for over a year at least, and then probably 2 years. He does still do the machine shoulder press. It forces him in position, and he can still work on strength there, and that would cross-educate the two together, hopefully. But it's worked out pretty good. So, and does it make sense? So, assisted range of motion versus active on his own, then to actually loading the actual range of motion. Any questions clear there? Any scenarios you can think of why you wouldn't push this? So, so Tom Major wasn't a real connective tissue, but he broke his collarbone, but he still had a surgical incision there, and tons of stitches right across his collarbone there. I literally held him down. So I was like, so Tom trusted me enough to do this. I was like, Tom, I'm not a physical therapist. You should have PT right now. This was like 3 days after surgery. Like, so I know that anything on this, I don't want to infect it. I don't want to move any of the site here. But it has nothing to do with his deltoid. It has nothing to do with his rotator cuff. It's literally the collarbone. Put a metal plate in it, and he had a site there. So I froze him here, and I literally was putting pressure in him. It was more on his coracoid in there, and I was not putting pressure on the bone itself. And he did all this stuff. 10 there, he was doing 10 external rotation, 10 there, and then finally, he wasn't supposed to lift overhead. We'd like to see what happens if you lift overhead. Fine. There was no motion in there. I would prevent any kind of motion that could possibly ever happen. So it went amazingly well. From there, we started doing bench presses. Drop your arms and do bench presses. That's how ridiculous it was, but it's better than him sitting at home. So we do bench presses. He came off the wall, he started doing rows, he did split squat holds, stuff that was not dynamic that kept him moving. So that's how much control we had over the actual injury site. So that doesn't work out, and if it's someone like real immediate injury or just super weak or they're super timid on doing anything, they guard up and seize right away, and they don't want to do anything with it. The ground makes this very simple, and this worked excellent with Carol Bland right when she actually had her arm surgery a couple years ago, and I tried this out with her, and it was just too much pain. Just getting her arm up was a big challenge for her to even get that arm past 90 there. So I was like, let's try it on the ground, see what happens. So go ahead and lay down on your back. I used to lay on your back, right? The rest is okay. So it was probably more comfortable and easy if they bend their knees, but for this sake now, just keep the legs down so I can get them top. So postural position here. So already you have to feel this one out yourself to really get the magic of it, but gravity is sucking him down, and he doesn't have to fight against gravity anymore to fight and hold his position up. So I can set him into place real nice and get this back easier. And even if that's a simple stretch for the internal rotation, external rotation of the shoulder, I can get this nice and easy. And I still have the same assessment of the distance against the ground there. So it's getting sucked in nice and tight. And hinge back. Exhale, squeeze back. All the way down. Good. All the way up. And think of this more as anything as a stretch and activation at the same time. So it's a double whammy. So there's all kinds of activation techniques, but it's not perfecting the position. The shoulder wants to go in 1,000 directions, and it's very complex and there's a lot to it. So I can force the stretch on the tight tissue, but I can also strengthen and activate the weak ones there. So 10 there, no pain. And if this one's off, you'll get it by with a lot more assisted range of motion on this version without much pain and grimacing. And here, same thing, reset the shoulder blades back and down tight, hinge back, good 1, 10, 2, now find this kind of stuff going on, 3, nice and symmetrical, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. I'm just trying to lengthen that pec minor out there. Now go all the way up overhead. Nice. 1, 2. You guys feel he's getting more range of motion overhead. It looks like his arms are extending further. Continue. You said so. Squeeze tight. You got dumbbells in your hands. 4-ish. Lock out all the way. Squeeze. 5. Give me a 3-second pause at the end. 1, 2, 3, 6. So we're going to intensify his limitation. 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 8. Tight there. 1, 2, 3, 9. 1, 2, 3, 10. He might notice from here to here some kind of popping or hinging in there, and so he can actually find a sweet spot to work all that stuff back. So it's bringing everything back into that postural position back and out tight. So even laying there must feel good. It's extending his lats out and fixing all the issues. So it's not just always pec minor kind of stuff. It's really bringing it all back at once. Now let's say he's got limitations again. Very light pieces you can still keep this with. This one though, with someone like that with the tight shoulders, it wasn't as bad as I expected, but this is going to assist. You still got to work the eccentric load with the rotator to get down to the ground, but that last 2 inches where he's fighting to really get there, it's going to help squeeze him down and actually stretch him. So nice and tight, give me 5. 1, tight. 3. Watch for the elbow pain on that. 4. 5. Then bring it to the side. Nice and tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, nice. 5, maybe 5 already, pressing up to stay on the ground. Good, 1, good. And that's going to be stretched out at the back of his neck muscle there too. It's going to feel real damn good. 3, 4, good, shut. 5, good. So it's probably got some kind of tight trap there kind of thing going on. Got the same problem going now, but we're forcing it out so we can get back to the normal length tension relationships and firing patterns that should be there. He's like this and has built strength of that over time. That's what led to my problems too. But you can find that and start finding what is the tight tissue that needs to be rolled specifically. He needs to loosen up that trap, perhaps the opposite hip. What is all connected here? You start finding those issues. Was one of his hips sagged on the wall? You start finding these pieces that are the real problem. So that's the shoulder circuit. I like to start on the wall, and if it doesn't work, go to the ground. Because this one, you then have to progress to the wall, then back to seated dumbbell shoulder press, and then back to standing dumbbell shoulder press. You can even actually, they need to go neutral. So you got a lot of options for the overhead work there, and then combining that with the machine shoulder press. So is that all right? I think so. Feel better now? Yeah. Really? Yeah. So anyone else? Okay, good. You're all perfect. Back protocol review. Ryan just hurt his back doing deadlifts. Now, why this is so black and white? The shoulders are very complicated, and a lot of injuries can occur in various ways. The mechanism of injury isn't always so obvious, or what is actually injured. Back injuries in here, in most of the world, flexion or rotation typically, especially if it happens in here, they've bent over, they hurt their back deadlifting. The mechanism is very obvious. It's very rare that a herniation or slippage will happen on the anterior side. It's always going to be posterior there for the most part. So that's why the Cobra is your assessor. So if it was an anterior herniation, the Cobra is going to intensify the pain. If not, it's going to relieve pain immediately. It's going to actually feel very good. The problem is they hurt their back and they go to this kind of guarded position like, oh, I hurt my back, crap. And they're actually holding that position. They're freezed up, the nerves get tight, and they're in a guarded stance that's going to make this worse actually. And then they're going to get on their back the next morning and stretch their back and hug their knees, making it even more worse. That's why the early onset of intervention on this is a big deal. And so let's say he hurt his back and we get him down to the ground. So act like you're a frail, injured bastard here on this. So getting him down on the ground is going to suck and it's going to be very hard. So getting him down to one knee slowly, so brace him, so come down, one knee down at a time. You don't want him to lean over, maybe brace him accordingly, and then slowly go down to one hand and see if you can crawl yourself out to the ground. And he's going to be very guarded, moving very slow and lethargic on this. And my first goal, so our goal is to get him back to a functional position. First of all, a stable position, postural position. That's our go-to. He probably had postural position deficit, so we need to get him back there first of all, then a functional postural position going to 90 degrees. So we can bend again and get back to deadlifts, RDLs, squats, you name it, and anything. So I know that I'm barking down the right tree if I can get him into spinal extension and it doesn't increase pain. They're guarded though, so know what you're dealing with and if it's gonna be eye-opening right away. A lot of times it actually is and say, oh yeah, it feels fine, I have no issues, then proceed to the next step. So basically kind of get his shoulders off the ground at all. I'm not talking extreme yoga cobra, I'm talking elbow, forearms on the ground. So just head forward and put your elbows tight to the body, and put your wearing the forearms there. That's already movement. So think of someone in extreme pain. You've seen some people who just have back pain. It's like they move an inch into 10. So that's step one. If that's all I get and it's relief pain, I go up any further, he's not comfortable with it, we're gonna do this forever. Okay, we're gonna hold 5 minutes here, 1 minute, 5 minutes, whatever. But you gotta keep doing it until you can progress to the next step. This could be 10 times in one day. It could be every day of the week. It could be you're coming in to do the JTLC with me and we're gonna see how far we can progress this. Otherwise, it's going to continue to take time, it's going to fester, and they're going to go back to their guarded state. You keep doing stupid shit that the chiropractor or their PT or whoever tells them about stretching their hamstring or their back out, which is barking on the wrong tree. We need to get them strong in here and fix the root cause of the problem. So step one, he's there. Now see if you can come a little higher, push your chest up off the ground, and I'm going to block him from going too far here. I'm holding the vertebrae down here, and I'm going to actually help him curve the vertebrae at the same time. I'm going to keep that dig down nice and tight. So he's up, pain better or worse. Okay, it's fine, feels good, relieving. He's going to come up more, open up that angle there a little tighter. He's good, he's good. And again, I just want to make sure you understand, this doesn't have to happen in one day. When we go through all the progressions now, this could take months, but it shouldn't. If you do this well and you're on top of things and you're confident about it, you can get this to happen very quick. So as he came up, when I had my hand blocked here, I felt him curve his spine in a better extension. Did you feel that? So just being there, when they're at their own realm doing this on their own, they're just going to come up in a humpback state. So you want to kind of go down each vertebrae, poke into place and make sure they're in position. I'm happy with this. So if I can get him now to get those hips anteriorly tilted a little bit and to really take out tension, that's a big step. So, okay, did I feel anything weird out of place? Did he jump from pain or anything like that? He's good. So Cobra has gone good so far. I think you can progress from this. I could actually get a Superman probably going out of this position. A lot of times they don't even get this high. I don't have to get to go to your hands. Definitely don't need to get that high. If I can, great, but we're not really dealing with the vertebrae anymore. We're talking more hip kind of stretching and stuff like that. So my purpose is kind of get him in an appropriately arched position and not have increased pain. So far so good. So from there, good. Go ahead and relax back down to the ground. Now I'm going to work, that may be all we do, just to relieve pain. But if things are good for the next phase of this, I'm going to try Superman. And the thing about Superman is you got weight below the hips and above the hips, weighting down both ends of that vertebrae, and it doesn't always go so clean cut on this. It doesn't always work. It doesn't mean you can't proceed though. So let's say both arms out nice and long, and let's say try Superman. And I'm in here, locking the vertebrae, go ahead and squeeze up slowly, 1, 2, 3 down. Again, 1, 2, 3, 2. Again, 1, 2, 3, 3. If there's no problems, I proceed to 10 reps and then go to my next progression. Otherwise,
what are you trying to do with your fingers?
Locking his vertebrae down to keep him in a minimum of neutral, if not get him into extension. Not extreme extension. The thing is he's already got poor posture, and he's rounded out, and some of the vertebrae are flexed and humped over a little bit. Not even, it doesn't even have to be that extreme. He's just in a bad enough position for it to slip. Now, if I push him down, I'm taking out any of the slack in there, and go ahead and squeeze up again. 1, 2, 3, good. So I'm getting the vertebrae in place, but I'm also getting these erectors to fire there and take over the situation. So one more. 1, 2, 3. Now they're getting tighter and tighter each time. No pain. Things are going well. I'm going to keep proceeding. Let's say it hurt, and it could be that not only does he have a herniated disc, but he's got sciatic nerve pain or something. And I may not be able to do anything from the hips down. I may just work the upper body only Superman brace in here to prevent any motion here and cause any kind of false positive. So go ahead and raise your arms to 1 inch, real slow. So go get it 1 inch. 1, 2, 3, good. Now it starts small like that, because going too high just simply at his body weight can cause the pain because it's too heavy. But be real subtle, and any quick, sharp movements here are enough to give you a false positive. So make sure it's nice and slow and smooth. So give me 2 inches now. 1, 2, 3, good. Now 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, good. Now you can see he's raising his legs, but now what I'm going for is just the upper body here. This is actually harder to raise just the upper body only, so be careful with that. But if you've got an issue that's going on here, don't let it confuse you. If you can get away with this, great, you're doing awesome. The other intermediate, that if this doesn't work, and let's say that goes well, I may want to go the other direction. Now just raise your legs up. 1, 2, 3, good. And that may just happen to feel great. Don't assume anything. You don't exactly know what's going on. Again, 1, 2, 3, good. So let's say you do both individually, but treat that as an assessment. You want to know if something set off alarming pain or not. So you check from the hips up and the hips down. You can work around that. Now sometimes if you have an issue from the top or bottom, if you go alternating Superman, you actually can get away. You're supporting half the body weight, you can actually still get some extension work in. So it's intermediate to get back to 2-arm, 2-leg Superman. So up, alternating sides. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, good. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, good. So to your question. Now, so again, that would progress to the 2-arm, 2-leg Superman, and then I would go to a bird dog from there, because I'm slowly getting him up off the ground. What's happening right now? So we're assuming that, so far everything went well. We're assuming that he had a posterior herniation, disc slippage, let's say. The vertebrae goes like this. Now you have fluid that, let's say the disc slips out, and you've got fluid leakage to the back side. This is the back of the body, this is the belly button. If you were to get that vertebrae to open back up, you can get fluid back into between the vertebrae and normalize the pressure gradient inside of it. So you're going to restore that sooner versus going several days. You get dehydration in there, and things are going to start getting a little more stiff. They're going to guard that position. It gets worse and worse. If you can early intervene there, you can really get that back open, and then start getting blood flow in there. You can get the muscles turned on and warmed up, and he actually starts feeling better as we're going through these steps. So he's warmed up and he forgets about the pain, the different pain receptors and chemicals will turn off, and you can take the next steps. So let's say we got to Superman, both arms, both legs. Now, let's see if we can get him up off the ground. So we know we've got him at a certain degree from chest up. We've got these muscles working out. We can get him up a little higher. So we could go to, the next step actually be a plank. So let's see if we can get you up on your elbows. Let's go with the roll plank. Let's start conservative here. It's going to go from the knees. I just want you to raise your body up in the air. Perfect posture there. Let's raise up, and I'll brace in there and make sure that I can actually support in there. If anything, I can give him a better tilt. And even brace under his waistline there with my arm. And let go. Okay, he's good, he's good, he's good. You feel okay. And that might be a 5 to 10 second set and rest. Build it up to 30 seconds, see how he does. Let's say that went great for 30 seconds. Let's try it up on the toes. And again, you can't assume they're in the right position ever. So it's why you always got to come in and establish the perfect posture position. You saw there was slack there, just like Matt showed earlier. I'm locking it into place. The second he does a normal plank, you see in most shape magazines and shit, they're going here, squeezing their abs, and they're flexing the spine. No good. So my goal here is to test, can his spine hold that position for time, and can he hold his body weight? So we're going to get him one step closer to functional to use his actual body weight. But you then also, yes, you have your transversal dominus, all your support muscles turning on at the same time to brace. So the whole 360 degrees is all brought into play here. So that is already doing very good. So now let's see if we can actually get him up on his hands and knees. This is an optional step. It's not necessary to get to the hyperextension. We can go at this point, but let's go up to your hands and knees. And this is more to start working stability. This may be the extent of your treatment protocol at this point. So first of all, postural position, tight hips, spine, shoulder back. Now let's lock it all in place. This is something I should have done better on that plank actually. So he's locked in perfectly. There's nothing out of place, we're going to assume. And I'm going to hold this here because you guys all do bird dogs, and I guarantee if I had you all do bird dog now, half of you would rotate and twist. That is nightmare right there. So if you just, let's say it was a flexion and rotation injury, if I did that, I could paralyze it and make this way worse. So I'm going to lock them down, come up nice and slow, and hold a 5-second bird hug. So come slow, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1 down, slow, other side, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. So this is, okay, pause. This is, everything else was very controlled, small motions that we're trying to get the back to turn on and engage. That, you can live there for a long time. This is more functional, it's more working stability, and you're seeing what he can handle and what he can control so you can get him eventually up off the ground onto his feet to the hyper. So it's more advanced, but like I said, it's not mandatory or necessary to get to the hyperextension. So you're looking for symptoms in any, okay, it feels good, great. It's not as bad as you thought he was, that's great, you're already doing amazing. So you need that psychologically for psychology of injury recovery. So he did that well. We did say 5 reps, 5-second pauses. All the reps are arbitrary, it's what they can handle. It doesn't have to be high rep stuff. Fatigue is not going to be a good thing in terms of rehab here. So he's up on his feet, I'm going to help him stand up. No funny hairs there. And then we're going to go to the hyper bench. Those were the most tedious, fragile steps there. But now, first I'm going to show him the review of the posture position. I just want to see him hold his body weight. It's an aggressive plank. We're going to hold posture there. I'm going to make sure he's in position there and see if it increases or decreases pain or nothing at all. So I'm going to lock him into place first, tight there. Feel good, you good, you got it. I'm just going to have you hold this for 10 seconds right in place. Ready, set, and adjust. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, hold on tight. And again, you want to go through and trace to make sure those positions are all in place. The rest of your arms are quick. If they're injured, that's going to be a little bit of work for them. They don't trust it at all as soon as they get on there. It's like looking off the edge of a good building there. So that was good. We're going to progress to the next step. And again, this could be all you ever get to, but it's a step in the right direction. So step 2. I'm going to stay close to him just in case he does get weak and let's say he gets a nerve pinch or something, he goes limp. I'm going to be right there to hold him and protect him. And ready, set down for 1 inch, down slow, and up 1. Down slow, and up 2. I'm pushing here and I'm squeezing and digging into here. He's not going to break position at all. Good, 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 and up. And so we could be doing the whole set of 1 inches, 2 inches, but eventually I'm going to keep adding range and seeing where he starts fudging or flexing on me. Good. And eventually, even it could be the same set, not likely though. I've never gotten that far in the first set in this scenario with someone. Eventually we're going to go down and work to 90 degrees. Go ahead and rest real quick. So let's say this has happened and we're 30 minutes into this because he's still freaked out and we're taking our time to go through this and make sure we don't jump ahead too many stupid steps. He's feeling better. You could stop there. Okay, we're going to try this again tomorrow and take another step. Tomorrow I want you to do the Cobra, nothing else, and we'll talk about the other steps. If you trust me to do so many steps, Cobra to Superman, to maybe alternating Superman, to plank, to bird dogs, fine. Then if they can eventually get to this, fine, leave them off. But you really want to be here so there's no variables of missing those pieces. So now he's done well there, no pain. I didn't feel any bulging. We're going to go for a full 90-degree range real quick. Eyes are up. Let me sit down slow. Good. 1, 2, go lower. 3's perfected that, and again, this doesn't have to be the same set. This could be the next set. All yours. Try it. Now he's unassisted. He's not braced. It's all on him. This is a big step forward in his rehab process. Can he do the actual range of motion unguarded and do it without grimacing pain? You're 1 step closer. Not healed, I would assume anything on this, but if he can knock out several sets of good range of motion on this, proceed. Okay, what's the next progression from here? Perhaps a weighter's bow. Dumbbell or body weight first, then maybe a plate, then maybe dumbbells, then next progression, maybe a dumbbell RDL, then maybe barbell RDL, then straight-legged snatches. No. But that would be where I'd get them back to normal training and they didn't have to go see their doctor, get x-rays, they didn't need MRIs, and they didn't have to miss any kind of training. I've had, like I said, 50 minimum people probably go through this and get right back into training, myself included, in a record time. I just had Dan Thacker, the owner of CrossFit Valley Park, same issue, and he's been taught for years. squeeze your glutes, and that's why I was pissing me off, because it's confusing bullshit, and those people don't do real weightlifting, and they come to this position and they're doing squats, or they're pressing, and they're flexing their spine all day long. You can get in a positive position, then squeeze your glutes and kind of do that, but it's very awkward and weird. So get your spine protected first and get strong and stable. Then if you can do that, so be it. But what happened? He did the same protocol. I wasn't even there. He worked himself out of pain, and he worked with a very well-known chiropractor already. This fixed him in like a day. He said he wouldn't train for an hour, and he felt better than he had for weeks at that point. So he was able to fix himself with a damn hyper bench in no time. Now he wants to buy a bunch of benches for his whole gym so he can make all his clients do that. And that's in a CrossFit gym. So, but he's a big, smart guy. I mean, he's a big badass. He's strong, but he's also very intelligent. He knows training, and this was eye-opening for him. So, big gorilla badass was down on his knees and back to train. So, any questions on that process? It makes it clear stuff. You've been in it a few times now. You've read it, you've seen it. Some of you've gone through it, but it's extremely effective. Probably more effective than all the wall stuff we talked about. So, that is all for the back circuit. So. If that doesn't go as planned or progress as planned, then you got a more serious problem and you need to get them through that. Not that you shouldn't probably anyway, but at least they should hear you out and let you attempt this process. If there's promise with that Cobra, then I think you got light in the tunnel.
What about scoliosis?
It shouldn't matter. It's not for this scenario. So that's why I say it is a deadlift injury, a forward flexion kind of injury. Rotation might bring some of that to the fence, but the only real answer I would know, so typical doctor response, well, we're going to get an x-ray, an MRI, then we're going to see, then we're going to take medication, then you can't train for 6 weeks, and then pain's gone. Or if they get good physical therapy, it's scoliosis, they'll stretch this side, strengthen this side, do one-legged balances type stuff. Now, our only goal is to eliminate pain and to get them functional, to gain strength and lose fat. So if I can get them to bend 90 degrees at the hips and hold a postural position, that's all I need.
I need to like shaky though.
If it's unstable, I'm going to find out soon. I don't trust an unstable position or joint there. So you're going to know. So if they can't, then that would be a deviation of the progression scheme you would know. And like the bird dog, that's why I throw it in there. It's not mandatory. You're going to see, oh my God, they can't even do that one side. And so that might be something you work on more routinely. And then scoliosis is a harder one. I mean, in terms of actually fixing and correcting, we might be able to help there. That's a very awkward, difficult one to work with, but can they do a deadlift and squat? They've been living with it their whole life with an imbalanced spine, and things have worked around it. I've got a hip imbalance, and I've lifted competitively for probably 17 years, and got some issues, but most guys are retired by my age from this sport. I'm in my old years for this, but can they do normal basic training and gain muscle and burn fat? I'm highly sure that. I can't guarantee that, but the same progression should make sense. I'm talking more of an anterior posterior issue than anything. So if they're twisting and rotating, things like that, yeah, we got to start looking at fine details of what's the imbalance and how can we fix that though. And that's kind of the scope of that next meeting. We're going to look at, I want to have a basic chart for you to understand the imbalances and what's short, what's tight, and how we can work around it, not just be shooting in the dark. But simple stuff, like, so if I can see an imbalance and I'm at the wall, like having Matt against the wall there, if I can see here, this kind of stuff going on. That's the obvious stuff I'm more concerned with. What is our goal? And it's pain-free, and can they train and be functional and effective? I'm not looking for perfection necessarily. If I can do that at the same time, awesome, that's amazing. But my goal is to get them training without having chronic pain, so they can get to their goal still. So it's a bit out of our scope to do that, and I honestly don't know too many therapists even that are damn good that can really truly fix that. Scoliosis is the worst one, honestly. So, but if I get them to squat and not increase any pain, this is shifting is kind of a simple no, but a lot of times the first step is the right verbal cue, and it's, hey, relax, you don't need to go roll for 10 minutes. Open those knees, dig the heels, postural position, open the knees, hips straight back. Jeff Jensen was doing that this morning. I put a band around his knees. I didn't say anything. I did say hips back, knees out. Knee pain was gone immediately. And it was probably hip problems, glutes were firing correctly. He just got in the right track. He thought it was magic. Like, it was an awareness thing, is all it was. And that could have been verbal, and he could have fixed it, but I had 15 people do it. So, it's not that him squatting correctly in the right pattern will still correct an imbalance by getting the right things to fire and other things to relax. Even though I'm not doing anything specific, I'm just getting to find the right groove. So that pain that's become chronic and inflammation that's been a result of him squatting in the wrong groove has gotten painful. I could go directly to it and try to fix that, but I could fix the real problem of him squatting wrong and take away the friction and shearing that's going on every fucking rep, and that starts to fix the problem and goes away. It's a simple way to do it, and you save time, and to me it's more direct. But you can get more aggressive if you really know what you're doing with it. Roll out the hips, stretch the IT band, then squat functionally correct is probably going to be fine. So, does that make sense? I need to add a question to that. My goal is really simple. It is get them back to normal training. And what is a simple, effective way to do it? Wall slide stuff. There's a million different external rotation, kind of shoulder rehabs. This is very simple to get them to bench press and overhead press and to pull down. I hurt my shoulder last week, and I'm pretty happy with the rehab I've had. Definitely not happy about it, but I couldn't lift 70 kilos in my head the next day, and did jerk snatches with 120 for a triple lift. You can't snatch it yet, but it's damn close. And, okay, sorry, I'm running on. But that's where this next piece is. So the preventive maintenance stuff and the shoulder stuff, I'm not going to take you to the whole JTLC, I guess, but let's line you up here against this row, and you'll feel what I'm talking about. So what is the joint that's affected? What's the problem? Is it a posture problem? Is it the shoulders? Is it the cervical spine? Is it a combination of that? Is it thoracic extension? Is it their hips? Is it their knee stability? Is it range of motion? Is it they just don't want to get down in that position? So think about this as we go through this. Now, you know the JTLC inside and out. What's the 17th move in JTLC? Okay. But this would be infused into the JTLC, and if the JTLC takes you 6 minutes, this would take you 8 minutes. Now, and I would even say that this should be the real JTLC. Now, on your hands and knees. Now, we're doing cat backs first. So people put in this position, and it's always half cocked. It's probably 60% of what it should be. So we're gonna warm up the vertebrae. We're gonna get flexion extension going on here. You're gonna do a cat back, and the reps are arbitrary to a degree. I'm gonna shorten this down. In boot camp, I want to get a lot done in a little time to a lot of people. If I do 10 reps, they're already bored, but some days I do 5, some days I do 10, depends on our focus here. The deadlift, they have 10 reps. But we're gonna bridge and stretch through the spine, and flexion and drop the head. So you do that for 3 seconds, or I said bridge and stretch for 1, 2, 3. Switch, arch and squeeze, 2, 3. Switch, 2, 3, and switch, 2, 3. Good. Switch, 2, 3, 3. Switch, 2, 3, 3. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5. Can you see why that might help someone like this speaker maybe get more mobility out of their back when they stay up in the posture position? They're just stretching it out a little bit. They're getting some heat. They're getting some fluid through there. Next, you're going to work on the scapula. So it's just the scap squeeze. From that position, you're going to open the shoulder blades. You're going to protrude them out into a back position for 1, 2, 3. Then close and squeeze together. 2, 3. Straight arms, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 5. You know, it's not eye-opening, but you can really feel all the motion in there, and they might get, oh, Matt's 2 inches in his middle earlier, he gets it now and he stands up. And it's warmed up and he can put it better together functionally. Next, we're going to go down to the ground, lay on your stomach. We're going to go through the, so now we do A's, I's, and T's and things like that on chronic condition, and we mainly go on the shoulder. This is going to be part of the JTLC every single day. We now have a new chronic position. Every time they go sit type all day, they're anteriorly rotated, they have shift positions. Why not do this chronically every day too? So first will be eyes. Thumbs overhead. Now you're going to keep your feet and hips down, and your head can stay neutral. We're going to raise up and hold for 1, 2, 3, 1, good. Getting 5 reps. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2, good. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3, good. Up for 1, 2, 3, 4, good. Up for 1, 2, 3, 5. Down to T's. T's. Right to the side. Thumbs are still up. And ready. Sit. Squeeze up and hold for 1, 2, 3, 1. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Up for 1, 2, 3, 5. Now into A's, down to A's, down to the side. Knuckles are now up, knuckles are up, thumbs are out to the side. You're going to peel up and back and get some thoracic extension there. Chin up a little bit on this one. Ready, set. Up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Chest and chin up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Peel up off the ground, 2, 3, 3, good. Up for 1, 2, 3, 4, good. Up for 1, 2, 3, 5. Now already we've turned on those upper thoracic pieces there. We got your upper back and traps around, everything's starting to turn on there. This is a new one that is now probably my favorite, and everyone needs to do this probably every day. Now hands behind your head and do a handcuff position. Going with handcuff position. So you're down there, you're relaxed. First thing, all we're going to do is bring your elbows straight back, your head stays in neutral. We're going to do that 5 reps. Ready, set, squeeze back for 1, 2, 3, 1. Squeeze back for 1, 2, 3, 2. Squeeze back for 1, 2, 3, 3. Squeeze back for 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. Up for 1, 2, 3, 5. Now the real good one that's going to fix all of our squat problems and our deadlift problems. You're going to raise the head and chest at the same time. Keep your fingers clasped tightly. squeeze back, hold tight for 1, 2, 3. Ready, set, squeeze up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Good. Squeeze those traps. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Eyes are up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Up for 1, 2, 3, 5. If you had that one alone to your JTLC magic, I promise. That's what I attribute my shoulder success to right now. It sucked that sucker back into place down. I locked it in. Doing that standing even is amazing. You're standing up and just coming back, turns it on real nice in here. Feels great. So from there, the next step I'd add would be going to the flying posture hold position, even better. So you can come to 90-degree position, posture hold, knuckles are on the ground. Think of the people that can't get those shoulders back too. You're already stretching your pec minor there, laying on the ground with gravity. What you're doing is pull up to the posture position, feet are coming up, and you squeeze the hamstring, really slow back. Squeeze up and hold for 1, 2, 3, 1. Good. Can I get those feet up too? Ready? Sit up for 1, 2, 3, 2. And up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Now, that's the 3-second rhythm. 5 to 10 reps early. Now we're doing 10 seconds. Feel the abs on out. Two people that are working on engaging their abs can feel on the ground now nice and tight with the erectors. Ready? Sit up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. And up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2. One more time. Up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3. Good. That feels great, doesn't it? Whoa. Now, only one person, you might have some excessive thoracic extension. I'm not worried about it, honestly. The rest of you are in a nice, appropriate position. Watch for some of the females who do get excessively arched there, but it's not easy to get there. You gotta work hard to find that position. So a great way to get to your nice RDL position, deadlift position, squat position, you finally get them up where they want to be, bench pressing everything, right there. The next piece will go to a plank. Planks feel better now after doing this. We're not gonna be the turtle planker anymore. Go up to a plank, keep that same position. Get ready, sit up for 10. Get there, nice, we're up, 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, side plank in 3, 2, 1, go side plank, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, other side, ready, set, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, on your stomach again, real quick. This is one for me right now because I've got some hip problems. It's hip internal rotation, mobility work here, so you're bringing the knees together. You can stay nice and flat here, raise your knees up at 90 degrees. So far we've worked on general vertebrae mobility, thoracic extension, shoulder stability, all those things. Now we're going to work, we worked on the plank, side plank, so we're getting into the hips a little bit. We're going downstream to the hips a little bit, some unilateral, some symmetrical stuff. Now we're going to work hip internal rotation and stability stuff. So all you're doing, keeping the knees together, you're just going to squeeze out as far as you can. And that's it, 1, 2, 3 in. Back, 1, 2, 3, 2, doing 5. Back, 1, 2, 3, 3. Back, it's weird, doesn't 1, 2, 3, 4. Back, 1, 2, 3, 5. Think of the shoulder the same as the hip. So if I can't get in here with good internal rotation, my external rotation is going to suck as well. And I'm going to have much of your time doing dips and overhead presses, snatches, if I get more internal shoulder rotation. The hips are the same way. If I have shit internal rotation there, I got shit external rotation. And you're going to have back pain as a result. So think of those little things in this. And that's where I would sneak that in because you're already on your stomach. I don't have to move you around too much. But now we're going to flip to your back, hip bridge.
I was about to say, that really hurts my back.
You probably have core internal rotation. So start working at it. It's a gentle one too. It's gentle because you got to activate to work against the gradient of tension there. It's not that I'm forcing you into place. So it's a subtle one. Now, there's a couple ways I would go here, but there's a lot of hip stuff coming. I could go to two-legged hip bridge or one-legged hip bridge now, but actually let's go to the side. We're going to clam first. So on your side, knees are bent at about 90 degrees. Ankles on top of each other. Clam, just going to keep the feet together. You're going to externally rotate that hip there and squeeze the glute medius tight for 1, 2, 3. Brace your hip, brace the top hip. It's really easy to compensate and get to miss your target. You got here so you can get that glute fire. You should feel ball and squeeze it going. So up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. It's going to be 5. Squeeze for 1, 2, 3, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Up for 1, 2, 3, 5. Keep the bottom leg where it's at. Extend the top leg all the way out. Point your toe out. Now we're going to do a leg raise here. Sideline, leg raise. Come up, point your toe out. Work for 1, 2, 3, 1. Straight down, straight up. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. You should be feeling the same muscle almost. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Up for 1, 2, 3, 5. I'll put you this in order so you don't feel. I want you to do more reps. I want you to feel what you're firing. That's going to control that. I would like to see how that. Now, it depends on what you're doing. You got TFL, intermediates, or ITBs. You're going to find a sweet spot there. Intermediates, I like to end up it out. So the question is, turn the toe out or not, and it depends on what their true issue is. Find out how they're doing. If you're like me and you step out a lot on a snatch like this, you might want to go this foot out and this foot it's really rotated out. You'll get real specific on that. So other side, foot, slam to the sideline, leg lift. 5 and 5. Hip down, raise the hip, raise set, squeeze up and hold for 1, 2, 3, 1. Down, up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Down, up for 1, 2, 3, 3. And up for 1, 2, 3, 4. And up for 1, 2, 3, 5. Sideline leg lift to the bottom leg where it's at. Point that other leg out, raise set, squeeze up and hold for 1, 2, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3, good Brennan, and up for 1, 2, 3, 5. The main thing I want to say is you're not twisting your body and spine away. Keep that hip and spine straight so it's all good working there. You'll feel the difference. No matter what you do with your foot, you'll feel that. Now, on your back, a couple other ones here. So back to hip, internal rotation. Again, this is the more extended version. Your feet are out wide. You're going to squeeze them in just like doing here. You can squeeze them in as far as you can there. Further, actually, you're going to need some space between the legs, so you should feel a stretch for it. You guys are too tight together. So check me out real quick. This should be wide enough to where you can't touch. Or maybe that's just how bad my internal rotation is. You should feel the posterior cavity here of the hip. There be some tension and pain in there. 1, 2, 3 out. 1, 2, 3, 2 lateral. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, and you'll feel that sweet spot. If these are blocking, you're too narrow.
What about in your hip flexor?
Yeah,
no. Your hip flexors need to open up. You should be on the lateral. That's where you should feel it. Okay, so that's another obscure one that doesn't have to be there. I'll show you. I'll type this all in. Next, we're going to go single leg. If they have poor stability and poor strength, I would start at 2 legs on this just to feel it out. But we're going to go 2 leg hip bridge. No, excuse me. We're going to do knees abducted hip bridge. So feet are out just like them. You can sandwich your feet any way you want. So get knees butterflied out. You're going to squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. Drive from the shoulder blades and squeeze glutes up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. This feels deep by the crack. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Up for 1, 2, 3, 4. And up for 1, 2, 3, 5. So again, your guys' feet should be actually like this. There. It's a very tight, weird position. That's the Sean Dunn version. Now, on this one, the next step, we're going to go regular hip bridge, feet are in normal position. Feel the difference of that one versus this one. This is the classic style. Go ahead and ready, set, squeeze up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Not as extreme as a contraction now, but it's more conventional, more appropriate for getting squats and deadlifts corrected with their hips. Now we're going single leg hip bridge. So plant 1 foot on the heel. Your femurs should stay symmetrical with each other. One leg out, extended long. Squeeze your glutes nice and tight. Raise up for 3. Ready, set up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Switch. Ready, set. Up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. Now back to 2 legs. I want to put them both working together again. So you can go in any order you need to there, but I like to introduce the motion with 2, go to 1, and then back to 2 to integrate. Ready, set, up for 1, 2, 3, 1. Up for 1, 2, 3, 2. Up for 1, 2, 3, 3. So this all happened as a elaboration of the cat back. That's all it was. You're all on the ground, and now you'd actually stand up. I think that's all the hip stuff. Yep, go ahead and stand up. Now, give me a squat and hold. Yeah. While you're nice and stiff, so squat and hold. This could be 30 or 60 seconds depending on the time you have. Ready, set, go. Now your hips are warmed up. You should feel better in the hole already. You should still feel like shit because you're holding that ready squat and hold. But your hips are turned on, your extension, your upper back is turned on a bit. You should already be better off. I've seen it over and over and over. It's gotten way better. That's perfect. So let's say we did 1 minute here. Now you're going to stand up, postural position. Postural position should be way more tight at this point. So lock it down, give me tight postural position. 10, 9, 8, and now you get nice tight retractions in there. It makes sense. Make sure the tailbones are pushed back good and relaxed. So then you would proceed with your normal JTLC type stuff and add in any other problem areas. We addressed thoracic extension, shoulders. We addressed the hips quite a bit here. There's more hip and knee stuff now though. So one thing I want to say now before I forget is we go through all this stuff. There's a few more single leg exercises there. When you get to the second squat hold, it feels amazing, like it never has before. Everything's turned on, loosened up. When you squat down there, it's like butter. But either way, you still use the rack, you still do it. So you can sneak in your first squat hold and your second one there. Again, this is miracles with 15 people at once in boot camp. And Probably takes 10 minutes or so to get through the whole thing. So let's say we've gone through everything and we're at the leg swing. You know how I feel about this leg swing. But this is something, let's say it's for the right person, and you can trust and spot them if they are doing, hips are stable. We're gonna do a forward leg swing 5 times. People lose their balance on this not because of the leg necessarily, it's their spine is unstable. So tight posture, tight here. Go slow, slow and small, build the range if you can. If you come out swinging and you're not stable in your spine, you're screwed. So give me 5 on the right. Think about the support leg. Amazing hip stability here. And with my adductor hamstring issue going on from the knee injury, feels great. Just when that's the support leg, because it gets that to work in the correct functional pattern that it should and not compensate and turn my torso. If that makes any sense, it feels good. So 5 there, other leg. Ready, set, raise yourself 5 times, ready, go. And then think about the hips in 360 degrees and the abs on the transverse side, rectus everything, in terms of what has to stabilize in the torso. The worst. A lot of nice things going. So 5 and 5. This one's even harder, so lateral, small straight line about a foot to each side of that foot. 5 and 5. Again, you're playing with fire on this one though, so another optional one, but this is for corrective purposes only, not like the standard fare. And I definitely wouldn't have people doing this all on their own.
There's definitely
not for people on their own necessarily. And they gotta understand why you have to do this in the first place. So otherwise they're gonna hurt themselves. So next to the knees. So more specifically speaking, boot camp every day, we do a 10-second static hold before jumping to lunge. So get there first, and your knees will feel better in a second. So 10-second hold, ready, set, go. Perfect 90-90 postural position. Your goal is also to stabilize the spine right now. Find a good position, tailbone back, 90-90. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch. Whoa, ready, set, and get it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other leg, now hand behind the head, handcuff position. Tighten up that spine even more. We're doing a split squat with a light tap into the ground. Go as far as you can, Brian. Just down, genuflect down, nice and low. Now your guys with the pain in the back knee on this, shorten up your stance. This is my problem. On my injured knee, I've got scar tissue there, and it hurts the back knee on this. I shorten up the range. I feel much better in that knee once I actually work it out. Squeeze it back, stay soft. Yeah, stay tight there. If you can't do that, no worries, stay in posture position, but hit 5 there and 5 on the other leg. So this is more of a lunge count. So 5 and 5. Split squat hold. Split squat 5 reps, then recover. And you got to be careful with the reps, so feel why this should not be exhaustive, more corrective than anything. So we're going to go alternating forward lunge, 3 reps. Ready, set, hands wherever you want. And verbally handcuff position. Down, up, and down. Up, 1, down, up, and down. Up, 2. Lunges should already feel better. Down, up, and down, up. We'll stop it at 3, could be 5. Now let's try a reverse lunge. Step forward, 3 reverse lunges. So this is for the knees and still yet the hips as well. So think about where all the directions the hips are going in. Reverse lunge back, ready, set, down, up, and down, up, 1, down, up, and down, up, 2, down, up, and down, up, 3. So tight hip flexion first. And the more you stay up right there, the more they're going to start opening up. So you got to work against it. So it's tight, don't give into it, start working to activate everything else to get that to turn on. It starts to work, I promise. Now you've gone forward, you've gone split squat, you've gone static, straight down, you've gone forward to back. Now lateral. Surprisingly, this has made my knee feel a lot better. Don't understand it, but hands behind the head are forward, you're going to squat, step over, recover right, then over left. 3 on each side, so alternate. Down, get a nice good squat. This is really more for hips than anything. Get down in there, recover, down, recover. 3 on each side. So again, how is this going to translate to the basic suave squat and a squat and hold? Your hips are going to loosen up, you're stretching the adductors. Why do people's knees not? Why do knees not? Tight adductors, tight adductors. So you're dynamically, it's one thing to stretch the adductor, it's another one to get it to fight and fire functionally and to strengthen it up. That will get it through the GTO on, it gets it to warm up, and it's going to feel better in the hamstring, or the adductor there. So getting in here is a piece of cake. The hips are more loosened up, knees are loosened and turned on nice and tight. So there's a connection. I wouldn't be wasting time otherwise. So you've gone static hold, split squat, forward, backward, lateral. You're tired now, so I would do rough sets of 3, maybe 5 on that. Next, you go to your set calf raise. Then let's do real quick 5 suave squats. 5 suave squats. Handcuff position or Frankenstein, whatever you gotta do. Ready, set, hand down, up, 1, down, up, 2, down, up, 3, down, up, 4, down, up, 5. Squat and hold, 30 seconds, last time. You should be getting taller, more erect. Now, go through this. I'm going to put a blog post out on the extended JTLC with all the moves. Go through all the full reps and see how much better you feel in all these positions, especially these crucial ones like that. The hips should be loosened up, the ankles should be loosened up, knees, everything around there, all the associated tissue. Maintain your posture from the hips up and relax. Good, good, good. So, the corrective stuff, any chinks in the link, right out there, you can fix up. What used to have that PC? Yeah, right, I always say the wrong thing. Princeton knows things. So, keep working out right away. Even if it's okay, posture position is short. Let's get a few, we'll call these butterflies. If I got a better name, butterfly, let's see if it gets better there. See how that transfers to overhead pressing and things like that. So, what can you stealthily put into the JTLC that they can handle that will fix the general motion up without wasting Marshall and Robbie time? That's all. Any questions? Alright, so is that clear and understandable? Alright, so thank you very much. Next we'll do periodization. That'll probably be video though. We'll see how it goes.